Today, we're diving into something incredibly important, how diabetes can impact your vision. We're calling it the silent thief, and for a very good reason that might hit a little closer to home than you think. In fact, let me just start with a question for you. Seriously, think about that for a second. Could there be real, irreversible damage happening inside your eyes right now, even if you can see perfectly fine? Well, the really scary part is that for a lot of people, the answer to that question is unfortunately yes. And right there, that's the core of the problem. The condition we're talking about, diabetic retinopathy, it can develop quietly for years without giving you a single warning sign. You could have 20/20 vision, pass your driving test with flying colors, and still have a serious problem brewing in the background. It's a disease that just sneaks up on you. So let's get into just how big of an impact this can have.
Okay, our focus here is diabetic retinopathy, and you have to understand the stakes are incredibly high. We are talking about the #1 cause of new cases of blindness among working-age adults.
So, what is it exactly? Well, the easiest way to think about it is like this. You know the retina at the back of your eye? It's kind of like the film in a camera. It captures everything you see. Over time, high blood sugar starts to damage the tiny, delicate blood vessels in that film. And that damage, that's what we call diabetic retinopathy.
Let's just pause on that for a second. This isn't some rare one-in-a-million side effect. This is a leading cause of preventable blindness for people who are in the absolute prime of their careers, during their most productive years. It's a really big deal.
Okay, so you see this number on the screen, 60%. What do you think that represents? You might think it's the percentage of people who get the disease, but the reality is actually so much more worrying.
That's it. Only 60%. That means 4 out of every 10 people with diabetes are skipping the single most important checkup that could literally save their vision. And why? Well, it's often because of what we said at the beginning. Without any symptoms, people just assume everything is okay. They don't feel that urgency. And it's in that gap, that false sense of security, where sight is so often lost for no good reason.
So, what is actually going on inside the eye? How does this damage happen? Let's take a look at how this disease progresses from the very beginning. Okay, let's break this down. At first, in a healthy eye, everything's working great. But then, in the early stage of the disease, those high blood sugar levels cause the tiny vessels in the retina to start swelling up, getting weak and leaking. Then, as things get more advanced, that leakage gets worse and parts of the retina actually get starved for oxygen. Finally, in the most severe stage, the eye gets desperate. It tries to fix the problem by growing brand new blood vessels. But here's the catch. These new vessels are super fragile, and they bleed very, very easily, which is what can lead to really serious vision loss. This all probably leads you to the next logical question. Who's most at risk here? I mean, obviously having diabetes is the main thing, but there are a few key factors that can really increase your chances of developing this condition. Now, look at these risk factors. Sure, the longer you have diabetes, the higher your risk. But the two biggest drivers here, your blood sugar control and your blood pressure, those are things you can actively manage with your doctor. That is huge. It means a significant amount of control is right back in your hands. It's also really important to know that major hormonal shifts in your life, like during puberty or pregnancy, can actually kick this disease into a higher gear. It can speed things up. That's why doctors are extra vigilant and recommend even closer monitoring during those times. Okay, so we've laid out the problem. We've talked about the risks. Now, let's pivot to the solution. And honestly, it all comes down to one incredibly powerful action: screening. With this disease, early detection isn't just important, it is absolutely everything.
So what does a real, effective screening look like? Well, it's not just about reading an eye chart. The gold standard, the absolute best way, is a comprehensive dilated eye exam. This is where an ophthalmologist puts drops in your eyes to make your pupils really wide. Why? Because it gives them a big, clear window to see all the way to the back of your eye, to that film, the retina, so they can spot any tiny bit of damage right at the start.
And the official guidelines on this? They're super clear. If you have type 1 diabetes, you need to start getting these yearly screenings 5 years after you're diagnosed. But for type 2 diabetes, which is way more common, you need that first exam the moment you're diagnosed. And then you've got to go back at least once every single year after that. Now we get to the best part of this whole story. If retinopathy is caught early, it is not a death sentence for your vision. Not at all. We are living in an era of incredible medical advances, and there is so much hope with highly effective ways to save your sight. Doctors have some amazing tools in their toolkit to fight this. The main treatments include these specialized injections that basically tell those leaky blood vessels to stop. There's also a really precise laser treatment that can seal off the problem areas. And for the most advanced cases, there's even a type of surgery that can go in and clear out any blood that's clouding up your vision.
I want to leave you with one final, really powerful number: 90%. What on earth could that be?
This is the punchline. This is the whole point. With the screening we talked about, and with these modern treatments, 90% of severe vision loss from this disease is preventable. Think about that. 9 out of 10 cases of severe vision loss don't have to happen. That is a stunningly hopeful statistic, and it really shows you how much power we have to fight back against this silent thief. So it really all comes down to this. Your vision is absolutely precious. The risks are real, no doubt about it. But the solutions we have are incredibly effective. So the only question that's left is the one right there on the screen for you to think about. When was your last dilated eye exam?